to Fandom Family Chats. I'm your host, Maureen, and we are joined with Amanda.
Hello.
Shelby.
Hi.
Jeanette.
Hi.
And Tiffany.
Hello.
And we are talking Bridgerton episodes 3 and 4 today. And there are some of us on this team who think that this podcast is going to go nice and smooth tonight with no jokes or nonsense. And we proved them wrong right off the bat. So we're just going to dig right into the episodes. And we don't need to go in chronological order. We're just going to kind of talk about, we're going to give you a recap of what happened in episode 3, episode 4, to the best of our memories, to the best of our abilities. Half of our team was really responsible and they went and watched both episodes today. So they were right on the ball. And the rest of us are going to chime in with some great moments and some takeaways of how we thought about the episode. So who is going to dive in first with some stuff that, what was the first thing we see in season or episode 3?
Oh goodness. I just finished watching it 3 minutes before I got on here.
You were my responsible
Daphne.
one, Amanda.
Daphne and the Duke are dancing and she's dreaming.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, she's dreaming about him in episode 3.
Mm-hmm. She's dreaming about dancing with him.
Okay.
Yes.
And then it cuts to the ice cream shop, right? Which is one of my favorite.
Yes, and I have
things.
a note in really big letters, the spoon.
We all want to be, can we just be a spoon now? Mm-hmm. Yep.
It felt a bit excessive for him to be doing that in a public setting in that time period.
There's no woman out there who would not want to be that spoon. Just saying.
Right.
True story. Probably a lot of men too. I mean, if we're being honest.
Oh yeah.
It's true.
Maureen has no comment, but
Nope.
we know. We know.
I
We
got
know.
nothing. Maureen is always going to be scandalized on these Bridgerton episodes.
I think for
So
episode
fun.
5 and 6, Marine's gonna be disappeared.
I think I'm going to be screwed for that one. All right.
Are you going to leave us to ourselves to talk about it? Because
Most
I'm
likely.
not sure if that's wise.
That one's going to require a lot of editing.
Anyway, episode 3 and 4. So she does start to have that. I forget, because I know we talked about 1 and 2. There was something that he did that sort of prompted her to start thinking of him that way. Because at first it was all business, but there was something that had happened in episode 2, wasn't there, that prompted her to have these feelings for him? Or is it just that he's hot?
It's just his face. But no, he does say, like in episode
was in
1
the
and 2, he says
promenade.
it's when he says, like, if I were truly courting you,
Yeah.
I would only need
That's what it
5
was.
minutes alone with you in the drawing room.
And I love that Daphne has no idea really what that means, other than
Mhm.
that would cause a
Sounds
scandal.
like
You'd have to
it
marry me.
sounds fun. Yeah.
I don't even think she thought that far. I think her, because she's so, and we see that in later, that she's so
Yeah.
innocent and so naive. I mean, for goodness sake, her friends are asking, how do you catch a baby?
How does one become with child? Yeah, I know.
So
No, they talk about she has no idea what any of it is, because in episode 3, that's the one where,
he says something inappropriate.
Mhm.
yeah,
Gives her some instructions. Yeah.
But I love
cuts
that
her out.
that she has no idea what he means by that comment in episode 2. No idea,
Mhm.
other than
Yeah.
the way he says it, the timbre of his voice, and he gets awfully close to her as he says it.
He does.
And all she's going on, that one interaction that seems so innocent to her, other than, holy crap, what just happened to my body just then? And it went
Mhm.
into a dream of inappropriateness.
Mhm.
I didn't get inappropriate because she can't, I don't think she could dream that up, because she doesn't really know. She's so confused.
Yeah. I think she just knows the way it makes her body feel is all that she really knows when he talks to her like that. Yeah.
Mhm. I think so.
So let's talk about the ice cream shop. Why is that your favorite scene?
Because the spoon. I mean, do we have
That's
to?
it? That's the only reason it's your
No,
favorite
I mean, it's not really my
'Cause it's
favorite, but
hot.
it is one that I do like. And sometimes I rewind and then I'm like, let me watch that one more time.
I like his comment when they're sitting there eating ice cream. She said, Wellington could only hope for a soldier so brave. He said, and handsome, you must not forget that.
Yep. Yep,
No.
that's true.
He is.
Yeah.
I think that's something that's sort of an enigma about the Duke too, is that obviously as we go on, we see more of his backstory, and which is just amazingly heartbreaking.
Mhm.
And you see more intricacies of his character as the season goes on. But you know that he doesn't really think highly of himself in that way because he's been told all his life he's worthless, he's useless. That's why he doesn't want to produce kids, that sort of thing. But he also is very much aware of the effect he has on women.
Mhm.
So he's just, and I think that's what makes Simon so appealing is he's got these two different personalities warring for attention of I'm useless, but I'm hot. And
Mhm.
I'm no good to anybody, but I know you all want me. So there's at every level there's this air of mystery because he's fighting for control of I don't even think he knows what in every episode.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
See, I'll talk the psychology aspect. You guys take the physical aspect.
We got you.
That's my sweet spot. The psychological aspect, not the physical aspect. Just to be clear.
Yeah, we got the physical stuff. We're good.
All right, so we go from she has the dream, she sees him in,
Mhm.
and because she's had this dream of him where she's feeling even more confused than she was when she went to bed, and then she sees him, and I'm sure that seeing him lick the spoon was probably even more confusing for her. So poor Daphne is going through all these things. She can't control what her body is doing anymore. And she used to do that just fine. And all of a sudden, she has no control over her body. She has no control over where her mind goes or where the parts of her body she's noticing she never noticed before.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
over him licking a spoon, she has to be so confused.
Yes.
Yeah, her face just looked like
Absolutely.
every thought left her mind completely, as did the entire audience, I'm sure. So,
That is a perfect way to describe her face because it's a close-up of her face right then, isn't it?
Mhm.
mhm.
They cut it real close, and then they don't even get a close-up of Simon's face. They get a close-up of his lips with the spoon. You don't even need the whole
That's all we need. It's okay.
Yep.
So what are they talking about in that ice cream shop? I think Daphne sort of forgets what they're talking about while he's licking the spoon, but
I think I forgot what he was talking about.
We
too,
don't
so-
know.
No idea.
They're talking about continuing to convince everybody that they're together,
That's right.
courting.
Okay.
and they're formulating a plan of action, right? Like how long they're going to do it and how I realize
Yeah.
saying that sentence in that way in the context of this conversation doesn't sound right, but I meant how long they're going to pretend to court is what I meant.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
They're boring.
I'm read this entire podcast.
You make it too easy for us, to be honest with
I
you.
can't help it. So they're discussing that, and then they go out. Don't they go right from there to the promenade? Promenade. How do you say that?
I think it's promenade. Well, I
Promenade.
think it's the promenade, but I think the action is to promenade. Or I
Promenade,
don't know.
yeah. Because
think
that's why
so.
it's called the prom, because you promenade at the prom, but the actual
Hmm.
walk is the promenade. So they go right to there, right? And that's where they start having their conversation because they're now going after they've discussed how long they're going to pull the wool over everybody's eyes and how long they're going to pretend to be in this relationship, and then they have to go and prove to everyone that they're in this relationship, right? Is that right, Tiffany?
That's a little later in the episode.
Yeah, I want
They
to
go
say
to another dance.
yeah, the
I don't
ball
know,
where
yeah, some
they
sort of
meet
dance.
Prince Friedrich for the first time, or
Yes.
yeah,
Okay, let's
Maybe not-
talk about the queen's hair in that scene.
Oh my gosh.
it's so crazy.
Oh my
I mean, I
God.
love it. I love it, but it's like
I
No,
know
feel
that
like it
was
took
one
me-
of my least favorite hairstyles.
it took me
she
forever
had.
to realize that like she had the hair underneath it too, because I was like, what is
Yeah.
that? Oh
'cause
wait,
it's just
that's
like
her
little
hair
curls
too.
that are just sort of in there,
Yeah.
but out.
Yeah,
She could
I
barely
love
fit her hair through the crowd.
She's the queen, though. Everybody can just move out of the way. you
I
know?
personally love the hairstyle, and I know this is not the way it is, but in my
I think it's
head, as I
fun.
think back on it, and I remember it. I feel like because I think she's got like something right here, like buns or flowers or something right there around the arch of her head.
sort of headpiece or something
Yeah.
there. I
Yeah,
think
this
And
is
in my mind, as I remember it, I feel like those are puppies, but they're not. I feel like that's her personality. Like, just stick one of my dogs up there; he'll be fine. He'll sleep the whole time. But I love Queen Charlotte and how she's so
Mhm.
unafraid. I mean, obviously she's the queen and she knows that everyone's going to bow to her. Everyone's going to do what she says and cater to her and do what she wants. But I think she's unafraid in terms of her fashion, certainly. But there is also this level of, and you see glimpses of this later on when they're talking about her husband and when Simon says, this is not this episode, I understand that. But Simon is saying, she was my friend. And then the queen's talking about her relationship with her husband, how it started, that sort of thing. So I think there is a level of sadness to her too at all times, because she did marry the king for friendship,
Yeah.
and she lost that, and now she's completely alone except for sycophants who cater to her every whim. And I think she's almost annoyed by that. She wants it because she's queen. She likes the power, but there's no one of value. And you see that that's kind of the reason she likes Daphne, is because
Yeah.
Daphne is not cowed by her. And
Right.
Simon is not cowed by her. Lady Danbury, certainly not cowed by her.
Right.
Tiffany, I'm just going to ask a question of the head a little bit. In episode 4, or what episode do Simon and Daphne go before the queen to say, I want her to be my wife? That's 5. Oh, that's the next
That's
one.
not till 5. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So I do like in episode 5 when the queen's like, is that all as low as you can bow, Lady Danbury? And she's like, with these knees? Yes. But they're friends. So I
Yeah.
think Queen Charlotte craves that, all the big wigs, the big hair, the big whatever, is almost to see how far can I push this, because no one's ever going to say anything to me. But I think that there's almost like a scared little girl in there. And I think that's one of the things that I'm endeared to Charlotte about.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I'm,
glad they
I'm
added
really
her
excited for the spinoff. I think she'll make a
Mhm.
great show.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Me
Yeah.
too.
She plays that deadpan character so well too.
Mm-hmm.
This is the episode 3, at this ball when Frederick is talking to all the women, and Simon and Daphne are off to the side talking, and they're mocking them, and he says,
Mhm.
and now he'll tell her all nicer dresses, and then she snorts when she laughs and he says it to her.
Yes.
And that's probably one of my favorite interactions of theirs, just because it's so adorable. And then she's like, "This is all your fault." And he said, "Well, I had no idea such an unpleasant sound would come for you." Like, and she does it again, and it's just really cute because it's really genuine. His like
is, yes.
happiness and his laughter.
Mm-hmm.
And I love Queen Charlotte's face when she does that too.
What is it? Prince Friedrich says, "No apologies necessary." What did she say? Maybe a small one.
Yeah.
I love her.
And the moment she snorts, it's like all of her head and neck just kind of pop back, like, what was that? I think that scene was, I agree with you, Jeanette. I think that scene was really, really beautiful between her and Simon, because it's just the way Simon's face lit up too when she did that. He obviously thought it was hilarious that this sound was coming out of this petite, polished diamond of the season, that this obnoxious sound came out of her.
Mhm.
But his face lit up when it happened too. And of course,
yeah.
it's down to acting. Amanda, you got something to say? Because I keep seeing your mouth like half open and you're smiling and like dancing in your chair. Like, what's up?
No, I'm just drinking my tea and it's making me have energy.
I have something to say.
No.
Tell
Shush
us,
over there.
Go ahead,
Shush.
Shelby.
I think that the one thing that Simon likes about Daphne is that she's not the cookie cutter, like prissy princess, like what they're supposed to be, I guess. I don't really know how to put it in words, but
Yeah.
I think that's pretty accurate, what you said.
Mhm.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I'd agree with that. Because, I mean, women at that time, they had, and I'm going to throw it back to Jane Austen because she's my homegirl, but like she writes all these women who, like even with Pride and Prejudice, for example, with Mr. Darcy, the reason he's so reserved and cut off from these women is because women were taught to be social climbers. Women were taught to be vapid. They were taught to only care about what the man wanted, to cater to him, to laugh at everything he said. Who really enjoys having a relationship that's disingenuine?
Yeah.
And Simon, in the position he had, imagine, was significantly worse. He had an earldom. He was very, very wealthy. He has been a bachelor for a long time. He's not bad looking. So, I mean, I can only
And
imagine.
gorgeous.
And he's very, very self-aware of his issues. He's very, very self-aware of his shortcomings, especially with his speech. That's why he doesn't speak a whole lot unless he's required to. And so I imagine that having all these people thrown at him all the time, there's not even a reprieve. You see him at dances, and I mean, he's turns one way to talk to someone, and then he turns another way, and there's already someone there waiting to talk to him. So I'd agree with that it's refreshing to not have someone who wants something from you, who
Mhm.
just likes your company, who just wants to be around you.
Yeah.
This is also the episode where they're viewing the art.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Their hands touch. It's so cute.
Oh, I love that part.
I love
I
what
do.
she says about the painting too.
Mhm.
Go ahead, Jeanette. What were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say, like, I love like the stuff like that. I mean, I like the other scenes too, but I also like the scenes where it's like the subtle stuff that's yet really like intimate and really hot. I mean, as far as like just their fingers touching, or the spoon, for instance, which is still another just. And then like later on when we see him rolling up his sleeves at the boxing game, like little stuff like that. Like I love the way they write it, and it's like, oh, okay, I know that wasn't really much, but it felt like a lot,
I didn't know I was into forearms before.
I am now. Yeah.
That's because
like,
you're
definitely.
seeing it through her innocent eyes.
Mhm.
You're thinking back to your innocence, and you're
Yeah.
seeing it that way, and that does.
Mhm.
That is hot.
It is.
that
And he's got
innocent.
really nice forearms, so that helps.
Does. Even those little upper arms right here, I got to.
Mm.
I think too that with that, I mean, that's I just said this when we did our interview yesterday. People have got to be sick of hearing me say this, but the nonverbal stuff I think is one of the most
Mhm.
important things, especially in Bridgerton, because the fact that she instinctively understands what he means and what he's doing just by his body language and the little tiny touch and the glance and all of that stuff that she picks up on, there's a very, very real intimacy in that action of understanding someone that way.
Mhm.
And I think that's what makes your heart kind of go pitter patter, because that's an intimacy that shows that you are fully understood, you are fully wanted, and you are fully connected with another human being. I think we all
Yeah.
crave that a little bit. So I think that's what makes it so not just sexy, but it makes it so beautiful. And
Mhm.
it makes it I don't even know the word I'm looking for. Emotional is a word, but that's not the word I'm looking for. It just makes it so
Yeah.
much more desirable, I guess.
Mhm. Yeah. I agree.
And I think that she was honest about that painting, and I don't think she said that because she knew it was his mom's, but I think that she was, while she was talking about the painting and what it meant to her, I think she was also seeing his mom for the first time. And I
Mhm.
think she was, as she was looking at this painting, she understood her mom, his mom, not her mom.
Yeah.
And I love that that's what connected with him, because he never even met his mom,
Mhm.
but he had Lady Danbury to tell him all about how awesome his mom was and how much his
Yeah.
mom wanted him and how much his mom died to bring him into the world. So even though he never met his mom, Daphne was the first and only person other than Lady Danbury, but I don't even think Lady Danbury did this, but she was the first person to make him understand something about his mom rather than just being told this is who she was.
Yeah.
Daphne helped him to actually understand an aspect of his mother's character that he had never seen before, and that he saw himself in that. And I think that kind of pushed him to the next level of how he felt about Daphne.
Mhm. Yeah, I think so.
Cressida, the name
Do
of
we
the girl
wanna-
who always has the
Yeah.
blonde
Cressida.
braided
Cressida
like hair.
Calpaba. Mhm.
What's her last name?
Calpaba or Calpa?
Cowper?
Cressida Calpapa or something like that, isn't
Isn't
it?
it
Yeah,
Cowper?
it's something like that. It's a weird.
Calpata, maybe. I think it's Calpata.
Hold on, I can look it up.
I think
Wow.
it's something. It's kind of a tongue twister.
So her parents were mean at birth by giving her that name, and then they were
Exactly.
more mean by coaching her to have pretzel hair. Don't you
Yeah.
want to like break off a piece of her bangs every time you see her and just like start munching on it?
Oh, I can't stand her.
It looks like a pretzel.
Yeah.
Cressida Cowper.
Is it just Calper?
Mhm.
Yeah. What was the prince's last name? I think when she's saying that, I think she was saying Cressida and the prince's last name.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
So I think that that scene is when we see really the true metal of Cressida's character.
Mhm.
She faints and everyone screams, and she
Oh Lord.
annoyingly and frustratingly broke up that beautiful moment.
She swooned.
She swooned and he caught her.
But the look she's giving everybody as she gives up, especially Daphne, it was like, is the prince blind? Like, did he? I don't understand how he didn't.
No, I mean, I think he knows, because I mean, this is why he's still after Daphne. He's just probably doing what he's supposed to do because she's the one with, all the money. So, I mean,
That's true.
if he can't have Daphne, he's probably supposed to choose her,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I suppose she does have more money than Daphne. That's right.
Yeah, because she said that she makes that comment or something about how they
her
have the
mom
money.
says that Daphne may have the face, but we all know Mike.
That's
We all
what.
know
yeah.
Daphne has the face, but Mike Cressida has the money. What a
Yeah.
mean thing for a mother to say about her daughter. We all
It's
know
true,
my
though.
daughter's ugly, but she's rich.
Yeah, it's true though.
Be my mommy, please. But I do, Prince Frederick, I really, really like him.
I like him too.
I
I
mean,
do too.
passion that Simon does. But there was a time there where I was like, I'll be with him because
He's just kind of bland though.
I don't know. I don't think I would call him bland.
Hmm.
I think because the boxing match is in one of these episodes, right?
Yeah. It's an
But Prince Frederick, I don't think he's bland. I think that he is. I think he's incredibly astute. I think he's very watchful. I think he has to be very cautious because he's
Yeah.
the king's nephew. He's a prince of a different country, which means he's eventually going to be king. He has to be cautious. But you see him watch people. He's always watching people. He's always looking
Mhm.
to see who they're. And he understands who Daphne is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't think I would call him bland. I think I would call him purposeful and watchful.
Yeah.
Just
I wonder, like, because the writer of these books, she's done like other series, like that are based on like other people in the Bridgerton world. I wonder if she's
Oh.
ever done anything on
Really?
like it's not necessarily people we see in the show, but people like Amanda, you'll know they talk about like those one parties that they go to in the books all the time where it's all this like weird extravagant stuff or whatever.
oh,
I don't remember, but whatever that family is, I think there's a book series about them as
Okay.
well. So like, I wonder.
that's
If not, I would
that's
love
the
to
lady
see
who
her
has the baby who looks shockingly like her footman, and her husband
Yeah.
died.
Maybe. See, I don't know if it's the same as I can't remember the name of the people. So, but I caught that today. I was like, I wonder if that's the same as what they talk about in the book. I need to go back and check. But I would love to see more about Prince. And maybe because didn't we? What is Charlotte's spinoff going to be about? I don't really. I know I heard it, but I don't really know what.
I think it has to involve him because
think that would
she's
be
very
nice.
close to her
Probably.
nephew.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because that's her. Was that her nephew or
Her
cousin?
nephew.
It's got to be by marriage though, because Queen Charlotte is not the royal. Her husband is.
Right.
Yeah.
She married a king.
Yeah.
So it's got to be her nephew through marriage, but she's devoted to him and she loves him.
Mm-hmm.
So you think that he's got to be in there.
So maybe we could see more of him.
Mm-hmm.
Did he end up with Cressida?
Oh gosh, I don't know. Does he end up
No.
with Cressida?
I can't remember.
He leaves.
Does
And
he
in the
just
end,
leave?
Cressida is
Okay.
mad at Daphne because she said yes to the Duke and then threw the prince aside, even though she knew that Cressida wanted the prince.
I was trying to. I wonder if he's in the books, if it's any different, because I know in the books, Burbrook is different. Doesn't he marry? Amanda, do you remember in the books? I feel like Burbrook marries. Is it one of the Featheringtons? He marries somebody. He's not like a. He's not the.
He does,
person.
but I don't think we know her.
Okay, I know he's not the person that they portray him as in the show.
He appears in this episode, right? Or was he in the second episode?
No, he was in the second one.
Yeah, he's not in these.
That's
Okay.
What?
Philippa.
Yeah.
In the book, she marries Nigel.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
She's the
Yeah.
older Featherington, right?
Yes.
Because the one who sneezes a lot is going to marry the guy who sneezes a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't
Does she
remember either one of their
sneeze
names.
too?
I forget their names. Philippa and then
Prudence.
Portia,
Prudence.
Penelope, and
Prudence.
Prudence. That's what it is.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember the guy's name.
They man, I wish I just watched this and now I can't remember what she called him.
Is that in this episode? Yeah, because it's,
She called Archibald is what she called him.
Mhm.
Archibald, yeah.
All right, so we meet Prince Frederick.
Uh-huh.
Cressida has her eyes set on him.
Mhm.
This is also the first episode Daphne realizes that she doesn't want to fake this, so she's turning away eligible suitors.
Mhm.
In fact, even turning away from the prince at that art gallery to go find Simon. So she's actively turning away totally fine suitors because, and I don't think she fully realizes why either. I think
Yep.
she just knows, I just want to be with, I don't think she was thinking, I want to marry him. I want to be with him romantically. I think as far as her thinking went was, I enjoy being around him more than I enjoy being around anybody else.
Mhm. Yeah,
So what
it is.
happens after we meet Frederick for the first time?
I'm trying to think.
Tiffany's got notes.
She's looking.
He doesn't care
Reading.
about the prince. It's all Simon.
Princess.
Yeah, I
is
know.
Prince of the
Not
show.
wrong.
I know other people that we haven't talked about yet, but I was curious if what else happens with all of them. If we wanted to finish that or jump around.
Yeah, we can do that.
Well, yeah, the prince. I mean, the last time in episode 4 is when the prince tries to propose to Daphne
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
in the dance. That part just makes me laugh every
I
time.
know. She keeps
Because
spinning away from
As,
him, and
as soon as he goes to say it, she spins away.
yeah,
And then she
And
just
then-
runs off. And then you don't see him again
yep.
in the episode.
I was gonna say, you
Yeah.
see him again.
Yeah, in that episode.
Yeah.
And
I
that's
think-
when the duel happens.
Well, I
Mhm.
think too in episode 3, for Daphne, it was when Simon got really close to her on their walk, when she realized that she's really intrigued by this guy. She just wants to spend more time with him. I don't know if she thought more about it. But I love that what made Simon realize he wanted to be with her, even though he was afraid of it, was her talking about his mom. That is what
Mhm.
that is what made Simon realize, oh crap, I'm in trouble here.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Episode 3 is
Definitely.
also when the Duke he breaks it off with her.
Yep.
With
Because Lady Danbury takes him to task, right?
Hmm.
Mhm.
Also outside the ice cream shop.
And he calls her a convenience.
Oh,
Oh, I
so
hated that.
mean.
No.
But I mean, he had to be mean if he wanted her to be. It was for a noble cause. I think that if he was any less mean about it, she would have still tried to pursue him.
Yeah.
She would have still tried to
Yeah.
excuse it. I think he had to be really hurtful and really mean for her to be shut off. Be like, all right, well,
Yeah.
then we're really done then.
Yeah. Because he tells her they're not friends and all that
Mhm.
stuff. Like,
And they've never
Just
been
really sad.
friends.
yeah.
And you can tell it hurts him to say that.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, she's the first person who really just liked Simon, just liked him.
Mhm.
Didn't have an ulterior motive. Didn't even want a romantic thing with him. She just truly enjoyed him as a human being.
Mhm.
When has he ever had that? I mean, even Anthony is quick to jump on his bad side. Even Anthony is quick to like, how dare you? I mean, I get it because he's got a reputation, but still, even in that, like, Anthony is kind of consumed with his own stuff. for his
Mhm.
friend. So that
But
was
then we see Simon regrets it whenever he sees her at that ball in that white dress.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh. And then she
I love
drops
that too.
the fan just like any other woman.
He picks it up, but yeah. I mean, he doesn't take his eyes off of her. I love that scene too.
I love the cinematography in that scene too,
Mhm.
because obviously when she's coming down the stairs, they're focusing on all the right angles. But when they're dancing, they slow everything down. And it's like slow motion, and you see Simon, you see like every blink that he does as he walks off the dance floor. Because
Yeah.
they've just slowed it down. And that's a really interesting cinematography trick to really hit hard on what Simon is feeling in that moment.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I thought that was really cool.
Love that. They filmed that just perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And she looked gorgeous, of course.
She did.
Oh, yeah. Actually, like a diamond.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
And she just had that white, feathery crown
Mhm.
with a little feather fan that she drops.
So funny.
And her shimmering dress with all the little jewelly things on it.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, she knew exactly what she was doing. That was her invitation to, because with Simon, you know, she never wore anything like that.
Mm-mm.
She never wore anything ostentatious with Simon. She never wore anything that was outlandish or, hey, look at me. But when
Mhm.
she did that that time, that was saying, hey, Prince, I'm available, and this is for you.
Yeah.
She was calling out to royalty when she did that. Smart play.
And I love Violet's face in the background while she's like doing all of this because she's like, "What in the world?" I mean, you can see like,
She
and
just
that's
keeps
and
taking
that's-
the champagne.
exactly that's the night she gets. Is that the same night she gets smashed?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Even, and then she's watching she was watching Colin with
Marina.
Marina, that's her name, yeah.
Yeah.
But there was another one of her sons too that was making her take drinks. I think it was Anthony.
It was
and
probably
he was
Anthony.
like sulky and, and sad, and she was trying to. Oh, that's right, because she pulled him over to introduce him to.
Oh, and he kept
yeah.
watching. What's her
Yes.
name?
And then
on
he
the
eventually just
stage.
walked off without saying anything. Sophia, wasn't that her name?
Sienna.
Sienna. Yeah. Yeah, because Benedict's, that's the night he goes to Sir Granville, so he's not even at that party.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's the
right.
night
Oh, no.
he went to Sir Granville's house.
Yeah.
It
Not
is.
for the Sir Granville's party, but when he invites him over just for that, like
To the
painting, yeah.
drawing.
the drawing. Mhm.
And I just love it. Poor Violet is so like her entire world was turned upside down that night. she just realized for the first time, I understand nothing of what is happening right now.
I
Her
know.
facial expressions in every moment were great. And Lady
Oh, yeah.
Danbury's was pretty phenomenal too. She was pissed.
Well, she even calls him. Doesn't she call him a fool or something like
Yeah.
that?
He hits
Yeah.
him with the cane.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
I love that.
I love
I-
Lady Danbury.
I do too.
Speaking of Lady Danbury, another favorite scene of mine is in this, and it's when Benedict first meets Sir Granville, and they're looking at those paintings, and they walk up, and he starts like trashing the painting, and she's like, maybe we should ask the artist, and he's like, wouldn't that? And here, the artist is right there, and he's like, how could you let me? And what does she say? How could I not? Like I just love it. It's so funny because he's so embarrassed, obviously.
See, now we can give our group a shout out. Lady Danbury is our character of the week.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
she is.
I've been enjoying all her facts and quotes and stuff.
Yeah.
I have the Thursday quote, and it was really, really hard to narrow that down. Let me tell you.
Ooh, I bet.
She's got good ones.
She does. She's got the best lines.
Mhm.
And in this one, I love how she takes him to task in the in the carriage.
Same thing.
It's got wheels. It moves
Mhm.
from place to place. But after their promenade, when they're walking past the prince, and Lady Danbury for the first time, I think, realizes that she's completely ignoring the prince, and she's realized for the first time the prince watching Daphne as they go by, and Daphne
Mhm.
doesn't even notice the prince. But she also understands and knows her Simon's reluctance to be married. And so she is full of wisdom, and Lady Danbury is more than Lady Whistledown. She actually sees how things really are rather than just the appearance of things.
Mhm.
And I think she's really good at reading people's intuition. And she's intuitive herself enough to see when people are struggling, when people are going to cause another one to fall. And so I love how, I can't remember, it's a whole speech. So I can't remember all the words she says, but that time in the car where she's taking him to task and saying, that's not how I raised you. I did not
Mhm.
raise you to completely destroy another woman just because you enjoyed her presence, taking away every prospect she possibly has to ruin her life potentially.
Yeah.
Either stop screwing around and marry the girl or leave her the hell alone.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm ad-libbing that and paraphrasing, but that's the gist of what she says to him.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
And I love that you can see in that speech that she obviously thinks he's a moron for
Mhm.
for not pursuing Daphne, because they work. They actually work together. And any blind, I
Yeah.
mean, that's why the ruse works so well, because a blind person could see how well they paired together, how well they suited each other in temperament and personality. And I mean, they look really attractive together.
They do.
So I mean, on all levels, they just work. And on all levels, Daphne has exactly what Simon needs
Mhm.
to actually feel like a real human being. His whole life has been vengeance. His whole life has been, I'll prove you wrong. His whole life has been consumed with showing the world that he is not this crap pile that his dad told him he was.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
Daphne is the first and only person ever to just want Simon.
Mhm.
Yep.
But there's also nobility in that because at first, when my first time watching through, I'm like, what? I don't understand why he likes her. What the heck? So, I mean, there
Yeah.
is some nobility in, I love you. I want to marry you, but I cannot give you children. And that would be the greatest disservice of all, because you would be such an amazing mother. You deserve to be a mom. You deserve to have the life that you want, that you desire. And I can't break you
Mhm.
like that because I care about you too much. So there is that. And that's a devastating scene for me when right after the ice cream shop, when he breaks it off with her And then he goes
Mhm.
storming home saying, "We're leaving for London. Pack everything up."
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
you could just tell how broken he is by this.
Oh, I know.
Mhm.
And that makes me really sad when I see that scene.
Oh, yeah.
It's really sad.
And then he goes to box.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Get that frustration out.
Yep.
And pretty quickly, doesn't the next scene after that, isn't Daphne and the prince there? And the sands, and they both
Soon
end up
after
watching each other?
that. If it's not right
Yeah.
after it, it's soon after it.
Yeah.
Because he goes to tell his friend that he's going to leave. And
Mhm.
I love his friend's wife. I can't remember either one of their names, but I love her.
Will. Guy.
Yeah, but I think is her name like it starts with an A, maybe Alice. I don't know. I don't know if they ever say it, but like
She
I feel
has.
like
a
I've looked it up
name.
before.
Does.
Yeah. I feel like it starts with an A, only because I've looked it up before, but I can't remember. Alice, maybe something like that.
Alice, you're right.
Okay.
I just
Yeah.
love that Lady Danbury just
wait.
took the task for something. And then he goes to this boxing match or boxing ring to tell his friend, hey, I'm going to leave. And then this other woman completely takes him to task for not being there enough for his friend. They need their support. I just love how unabashed she just lays into him every time she sees him. I
Mhm.
don't think there's ever a time when she's on screen where she's not verbally abusing Simon.
Yeah.
And I love it.
Well, I think it's funny. But yeah, then that boxing scene. I
Ooh.
love that scene.
I do too.
Just the eye contact across the room. Oh,
Oh, yeah.
I do feel bad for the prince though, like sitting right there next to her, and she's clearly not here with you at all.
Yeah, she's not paying any attention to what he's saying.
Well,
Mm-mm.
that only happens for like a minute, and then she realizes what she's doing, and then she forcefully turns back.
Yeah, she tries to
She does.
do what she's supposed to do. It's just
She's a proper lady.
inevitable.
But then, go ahead.
I was just gonna say when they go back home and her mom finds out she was at a boxing match.
Yeah.
She's yelling at Anthony about it. He took her where? Yeah. I love Violet. I don't know, she makes me laugh.
Oh, yeah. I do too. She's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
So this has been all episode 3 so far that we've been discussing, correct?
The boxing is in 4, isn't it?
Yeah, we've kind of been jumping around.
Yeah, we've jumped from we did jump around, but we've mostly been talking about 4 now.
Mhm.
We covered pretty much all of 3.
Because when I watched this, I watched episodes 1 through 6 in one shot. And then the next day I watched 7 and 8. And then when I rewatched it, I watched 1 through 7 in one shot. And I haven't gotten to 8 yet. So I don't remember where one episode stops and the other begins. I have no idea.
That's why today I timed it to where I could only watch 3 and 4, and then I had to jump
That's
on
what I
here.
did.
That
That's
way
what
I
I
didn't
did.
go into another episode and
It's
then start
hard to
getting all messed
stop.
up.
Yeah, I made myself
It
stop
is.
too because I didn't want to get confused. So what about some of our other characters though? Like we've talked a lot about Daphne and Simon, but I feel like there's some other stuff that happens with Anthony
And Benedict.
and even with Benedict and then Penelope and Marina.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Eloise too.
Because she's
like-
trying to figure out who Whistledown is.
Yes,
Yep.
she's trying
That's
to
when
figure
that
that one
kind
out.
of
and-
really picks up, and she's
Mhm.
talking to Penelope about how great Lady Whistledown is.
Yeah. And what in that moment though, Penelope's like not in the mood because that's right after Marina's told her that she's going to go after Colin.
Mm-hmm.
And isn't
It felt
it
so
after several
bad.
years that she's gonna seduce Colin?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I mean, Marina told her she was going to, basically.
Mhm.
That it just breaks my heart every time
Yeah.
because she just won't say anything.
I know, I hate it.
I'm like, man,
Just
why you gotta go
telling.
after the one guy?
But I mean, in Marina, I don't like her. And I mean, it's for that reason alone. But in her defense, it's not like she knows
Yeah.
that Penelope, because I think if she did know, I don't think she would go after him. I think
Uh-uh.
she's a good enough friend that she wouldn't do that.
But
don't
she
think
figures it
so.
out, and she still
Yeah.
does it.
That's
Well,
true.
That's
But
true
I think
too.
I think she was bad.
Well, I think
I
she
think
also
Penelope-
realized I don't want to do this to you, Penelope, but I literally have no other choice, and you could have anybody else.
Yeah,
Can she?
I know.
Poor Penelope in her
essentials.
gross green and yellow dresses. She
What
wears
about-
one in like I think 3 that's pink, and I think it looks okay.
Mhm.
But man, when she wears that yellow and orange and green,
The family colors.
man, that does not go.
Oh,
Like Marina could put on yellow and look gorgeous.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all of your kids are redhead. Like, why you would choose you're a redhead? Like, why would you choose those as your colors when no one looks good in them?
No.
It's just so
Anything.
strange.
I don't like the color yellow. That is one thing about me. I hate yellow. I don't like
Yeah.
it on anything. You can go through my house. There is not a yellow thing in my house. Gold, maybe, yes. Yellow, no.
mind it, I guess. I don't know. I don't own any yellow clothing though. I don't feel like that would look good.
Well, my kids' school colors are yellow and blue. So I do have some like yellow shirts for like their school stuff, but I don't mind those because I have
you
to.
just lied. You lied to all of our audience.
I know.
You just
I'm
said
trying
you
to
told me
think.
your
I'm
whole
like-
house, and I didn't find any yellow. Now you just disclosed you had 2 yellow shirts.
I have one yellow shirt. One. And hopefully that's all. And I only wear it for school spirit days.
So when Marina takes Colin into that room, I love Colin, first of all. I think he is such a sweetheart and he is such a good man. And I can't wait to see, I don't know what is his book, 3, 4? Which one is his?
4.
I can't wait to see more of Colin's story because he is such a kind gentleman and he is so, but he's passionate too. And I love that when Marina, when she's like, all right, yeah, sweet, it's going to happen. He's going to take advantage of me and we're going to go and we're going to get married. And then he's like, but I can't. And the look on
I
Marina's
know.
face of, okay.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy. His book is good too. Like I wasn't looking forward to his, but once I got there, because I don't really love his character on the show. I mean, I don't dislike him, but he's not a favorite
Yeah,
at all.
Same.
But his book was good. It was.
I'm reading his book right now. I started reading Firefly Lane again, and I got into that, and I need to get back
Going
into.
on.
But I think maybe the reason that people don't really resonate with his character is because he's not really shown a whole lot except for as a tool for someone else.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe. I don't know, because I like Benedict was my favorite, and I feel like he got hardly any screen time. But something about him, like.
But that's
He's
because you
my
saw him
favorite.
on his own, going to do his own thing. With Colin, he was just a tool for somebody else.
That's true. Yeah.
The only time we saw Colin on screen was when Marina was trying to get with him, or Penelope was trying to warn him.
Yeah.
He
True.
would talk to someone else. And I think that if we are able to go through all the books, I think we'll see him in a different light because we'll see what he's actually doing. Because he was passionate about travel. He gave up himself to do for somebody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that, and you can kind of see that passion come out when he talks to his brother. And he's like, I don't need your permission, but I'm asking for it. And he's like, well, then he's disappointed in more ways than one. And he walks out. So he's got some passion. He's got some fire and he's got some firmness to him. I don't think we just get to see that in this season because, I mean, after Marina drops him, we only see him, one other time, really?
Yeah.
I mean, we see him more than that, but only one time that actually any large amount of screen time.
Yeah.
And we probably won't really see him too much.
Well, he's going to be traveling. We're not going to see him.
Travels for years.
Mhm.
So
We might. I feel like we do
go,
see him.
if they go like the books, at least.
I feel like we might see him a little bit next season, but I don't think he's in Benedict's book at all. Really, if I remember correctly, not much.
A little
not
bit.
much.
'Cause I remember
Yeah.
Kate having interactions. Not Kate.
Okay.
Sophie. Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Benedict a bit because he realizes he wants to be an artist.
Mm-hmm.
It's in this episode, right, where he is trying to draw hands and he can't, and he keeps crumbling up the paper and throwing them, right? Is that this episode?
Yeah.
3 and 4?
Yeah.
Is that the what? Is that the part that Louise?
I know Eloise talks about finding like his like stuff or whatever.
Fire, yeah.
She
Mhm.
tries to get him to pursue it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't even know. She's just saying you could do anything. If you want to do it, just go do it. Stop moping and being a baby about it. If you want to do something else, then do something else. And I like how she says, but you can do that. Whereas I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like
Exactly.
Eloise. I like her fire.
I like her too.
But Benedict goes to that party, which that I was not expecting that scene to pop up.
Well, that's not yet. That's
no,
not yet.
but when he
Not there
first
yet.
walks into that painting room, it is
Oh well, yeah, that.
a bunch of naked
yeah,
people
that
in there
part.
being drawn.
I'm thinking about the. With
Well, I know that
Lady
scene.
Granville and Madame Delacroix.
I was actually worried that there was I was thinking that there was Benedict was going to go to the door and this guy's like, oh sweet, we're going to have a relationship now. I thought that was kind of how it was going to go.
Well,
So it was unprepared.
too.
No, Benedict doesn't have a relationship with him. He has a relationship with his wife.
yeah, but I have to admit, I really thought that's where we were going in the series.
I did
but-
too. I did
And
too.
I guess they still could, but I don't. His book's my favorite, so y'all gonna have to really spin it the right way to get me on board with it. I don't know.
No, I hope they don't because I do. I love his book. His book is
I do too. It's my
so
favorite.
far, it is my favorite, and I don't want them to change.
Is that how it
Or
plays
the-
out in the book? That there's something else there or no?
No.
No,
Okay.
yeah. So
I was just shocked that he turned the corner and there was a bunch of naked people standing there. Like,
Yeah.
didn't think I was going to have to fast forward this scene. So you guys will have to fill it because I don't know what happened there. I have no idea what happened in that scene. I fast forwarded it.
I mean, there's not a lot other than just him talking to Sir Granville about like the painting and stuff. I mean, I feel like there's not a whole lot of substance there other
What
than
was their conversation?
it was just about. I mean, Benedict was being critical of his work. He was talking about how he couldn't get the lines right and things like that. And I think it's just, Sir Granville's encouraging him and telling him he's welcome to come back there anytime. And, I don't think there was anything major substance there. Am I right, Tiffany? I can't remember.
Yeah,
Like,
nothing major.
There wasn't.
yeah.
There was just saying, you're welcome back anytime, whether it's a
Mhm.
draw or just for conversation.
I think it was just showing like their friendship beginning.
Yeah. I think it was because we are going to see that party later. So I think it was just a kind of introduction and
Mhm.
into that.
When
But Sir
what episode is
Granville-
that party?
Is that 5 as well? Or so much happens in 5.
I
A
believe
lot
that's
happens in
episode
5.
I think it is because it's coming up.
Yeah, I
I
believe
think
it's
so.
five.
But Sir Granville is another one that is not in the books. So I mean,
Oh, really?
who
Oh,
knows?
he's
Yeah, I
not.
mean, so I mean, I don't know where that story is going to go.
Yeah, I've
I just looked it up. Prince Friedrich is not in the books either, so that's why I don't know who he
Oh.
ends up with. But Queen Charlotte isn't either.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they. So I mean, there's a lot of people that aren't.
no.
The Modiste is
Usually
not
in the
there.
books, it is
Sienna's
like
not-
the Bridgertons, the Featheringtons, and
and then whoever
Cowpers,
they're.
whoever they're courting.
Yeah, I mean, Cressida Cowper is mentioned, but it's not. We don't see
Yeah,
much
like-
of her either. So
I think it's really clever that Julia Quinn focused on 2 families with the last part of their name being Ton.
well, especially because they refer to the society as the Ton.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was London society. That was the elite in society. So
Mhm.
that's a really clever play.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
So Eloise in this, this is the episode or episode 3 and 4 is when she's commissioned by the Queen, right? Or does that happen in episode 2?
No, that's not happened yet.
That hasn't
Has
happened
it?
yet.
She's
Yeah,
decided
no,
that
it
she's
hasn't
going to
happened
start
yet.
trying to figure it out.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Eloise is
But-
trying to figure it out, but the Queen hasn't propositioned her.
This is the one where she gets caught snooping in the maid stuff.
Oh,
And the
yeah.
maid laughs at her. Like, there's no
Do
way.
you think we have time?
Yeah.
Do you think I would be working here?
Right.
I like when she tries to like command her to do stuff and she's like, I've seen you in diapers. I've been
Mhm.
here since you were little.
Up.
Get out.
Yep.
The contrast between her maid and the Featherington's maid is it's like they look similar,
Uh-huh.
but obviously Featherington's maid is in green because that's her weird obsession.
Oh my God.
But the way that they are loyal, you get the sense that they're both loyal to their people,
Mhm.
but they're very, very similar and yet so very different. And I thought that was pretty
Yeah.
good casting.
Yeah.
Even
Well, they
in
make
so
a-
much as that Featherington's maid snoops and gets all the things from
Mhm.
Marina.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Jeanette?
No, it's 'cause, like it's in another one of the books. I know I talk about the books a lot. Sorry.
That's fine.
That they make a point of how like amazing like Violet is with her staff, which is probably why her
Mhm.
staff is so amazing. That she's really kind
Yeah.
to them as opposed to a lot of the other
Yeah.
families. That she treats them more like they're part of the family and not just a servant for them. I just thought of a really funny scene that we hadn't talked about. That I don't know why this just popped in my head. And I think it's after Daphne, it's in the beginning when she has her dream, or one of the dreams when she can't sleep, and she goes downstairs.
Oh, the warm milk.
with the
Oh,
warm
yes.
milk, and Anthony joins her, and I love how they're both just standing there. And she's like, "Well, light it," and he's like, "Well, I should not know how to." And then what was it? They were like, "Cold milk then," and he's like,
Yeah.
"Most refreshing from this heat." You know, I love that part because I mean they're
yeah.
both like, "I have no idea what I'm supposed to do right now." But I like seeing those lighter scenes of Anthony because he just gets such a, I don't know, he's so serious most of the time that it's obnoxious. But
I mean, it's a hard place for a first son.
mhm,
There's not a lot, and it seems like first sons get all the best things, but they don't have a lot of options either. They have one
Right.
option,
right,
and it is to marry well, to run whatever family business your family is in, if that's an earldom or dukedom or what is it? They don't. It's not Visconti. What is it called?
I don't know what
Viscount.
it's called.
I have
But
no idea what it's called.
I
That
don't know what it's
position
called.
for him
Mhm.
obviously is his. So he doesn't have any options really. He's got
Mhm.
one single option. And he's also got the added burden to that of he has to care for his entire family and be the head of the
Right.
house. And it's not just that he's a first son, but his father's dead. So
Mhm.
he is the head of the house. That's a lot of responsibility. And I think that we
Yeah.
kind of get the sense that he wasn't this way before Violet got a hold of him.
Right.
Violet made him see, do you understand what kind of role you have to play here? And so it was kind of depressing because at first he was like this lightheaded guy when they in the first episode when she's like, where's Anthony? He's late again. Yeah, but I'm here. And he's like happy, kind
Yeah.
of go lucky. And then as the episodes progress, you just see him get more and more stressed, more and more tense, more and more angry, more and more
Mhm.
illogically bullheaded. Like
Yeah.
things he digs his heels in, like it doesn't even make sense.
Yeah. Well, like during like when they're gonna have the duel, I mean, I thought it was so sad how he goes to Sienna, and it was almost like he was happy
Yeah.
that he was going to be
Yeah.
able to escape this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
For sure.
Because I mean, I think he's really in love with her, and I mean, but he can't be with her,
Mm-hmm.
and that's sad.
It is. But she's not in the books
Uh,
either.
no.
And I wonder if they'll keep her in the show.
They're gonna have to get rid of her because once Kate gets here, she's got to move along. There's no more room for her.
I'm more
anymore.
worried that they're going to try to like make like a love triangle kind of between Sienna.
I think
and-
they've
I hope they
closed
don't.
that
Not-
door. I think that Sienna is done with him.
I hope so.
I think it's more not fantastical, but more desirable to have a show where each character that is attractive or that you're connected to is having a love interest.
Mhm.
And I
Yeah.
think we just probably needed that for that season because Sienna pretty firmly closed that door.
Yeah. You were talking about the first sons, and it made me think that was another part of that conversation with Sir Granville, that he was explaining to Benedict how, the first sons have all the responsibility, but the second sons get to have all the fun. And so
Yeah.
he was like telling him, like, you can do this because you don't have all that responsibility. Which
Yep.
then, of course, right after that is when Anthony says he's going to duel. And basically the duel, if he dies, Benedict's in charge. If he has to leave the country, Benedict's in charge. And it was just like all this, he's like, oh, well, now it's going to be me. I was like, this isn't fair to him,
And
lose,
Anthony,
lose.
but it wasn't necessarily that lifestyle wasn't necessarily fair to bet to Anthony either. So no one wins in that
Well,
situation, really.
No.
I know, but
And that's when they call Colin in there.
and he's like, who died?
See, Colin has very redeemable moments. I love Colin.
He
Colin's
does.
good at
I
the
think
one-liners.
he's
That's
so
after
young.
he ushered his
seems so
drunk
young.
mom up the stairs.
Yeah.
What did Violet say to him? I don't remember what she said, but it was the first part. And the conversation between Colin and Violet. Oh my gosh, I don't remember what it was. I gotta look it up.
I don't remember what it was either.
That was
And I
funny.
just saw it, but just know she was smashed. It was hilarious.
That's episode 4, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Because it's right before the duel.
I'm saving the
And-
duel for last because I mean that's the last thing we see in that episode, pretty much.
Yeah.
It is.
But let's talk about Eloise a little bit.
Oh yeah.
I love her. I think she's
do
got
too.
just enough spunk, but she's
Mhm.
just and her voice is so gritty. I don't know. There's something so endearing, and like every time she's on screen and she says something, I relate to her so much.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I love her. I
I
can't
like
wait
what
for
she
her
said
book.
to Daphne in episode 3. She said that Daphne wishes to follow her heart, and she wishes to nurture her mind.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Yep.
That explains her.
Yeah.
Yep.
What are you trying to look for?
Violet and Colin's conversation.
Oh, on the staircase.
Mm-hmm. Found it.
Okay, go.
He says, "Of course not. You are clearly sober. I'm sober enough to know when you're being impertinent." But I feel like there was more of a conversation than that because I remember laughing really hard. Good God, did someone die? And then he says, "I find myself in rather desperate need of a drink." And this is the only place you could find one? Are you not supposed to be on a ship by now? Change your plans. That's Simon and what's his name?
Mhm. Will.
What?
Will.
Will?
Mhm.
Simon and Will.
Ouch. And I like that it was left. Everyone just kind of left the party. Benedict was never there, obviously, but Anthony just took Daphne away. I don't know if Eloise was ever there at the party. I thought she was. Wasn't she at
I
that
don't
party?
know. I don't think so.
No, I don't remember seeing her because it was just Lady Violet and Daphne who walked in.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Mhm.
Poor Colin just left to take Mother home when she's completely hammered.
Mhm.
But the other thing that happened is, first of all, Marina is trying. Mrs. Featherington is trying to force Marina to marry the old guy, Lord Rutledge.
Oh.
Whoa. Let me
So gross.
smile. I want to see your teeth. Oh,
I mean, he makes Burbrook look like a catch.
yes.
I know. My gosh.
Ugh.
Smile. I want to see your teeth.
It's so weird.
He has those soldier teeth.
And he's like, soldier teeth. Ew. Creepy.
They look like planks of wood, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then at that ball, when oh my gosh, I already forgot the other Featherington's name. Portia, Philippa, Prudence. And she's with her fella, and Mr.
He's so sweet.
Featherington
Yeah.
basically has a conversation and says, "She has no money, you can't marry her." And then he abandons her.
Yeah.
And poor Prudence is devastated. And this guy, like, how long does Mr. Featherington think he can actually pull this off? Like, doesn't he think his wife is going to realize at some point that he's turning away all of their suitors?
Right.
It just
And when she does figure it out,
That library scene.
I mean,
I die laughing every time.
like at first I was like, oh, because I felt kind of bad for him. But then the look on her face just makes me laugh because she's like,
She's like, oh my gosh. What are you doing? Why are you touching me?
And at first I thought he was laughing.
I did too. I was
I
like,
think- yeah.
I'm like standing at the screen. I'm like, is he? I thought he was crying. Now I think he's laughing.
Yeah.
Or is he crying?
And then his whole face really ugly contorts to the ugliest cry I've ever seen.
but that scene made me like really love Portia because I mean she just took control of that situation. Like,
Yeah.
I love
I
her.
actually never really disliked Portia.
I don't dislike her either.
I don't think there was any point in
I
time
don't
when I did.
dislike her.
I think she's in the book she's a little bit more mean to Penelope. Like not mean, but like really just kind of puts her down a little more. And I don't like that too much. But I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I enjoy the actress, so on screen
Yeah.
it makes me like her a little bit more.
Mhm. Even her interactions with Marina because this is the episode she takes Marina down to the poor place, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Even in that's a kindness.
She's
That's
trying to
herself.
help her.
Yes.
I mean,
And of course, if it comes out that she is, it's going to taint her other girls too. But she
Mhm.
also realizes, listen, you literally have no options other than what I am trying to help you do. This is it.
right.
Unless you want to live in this dirty squalor with no hot water, no food, nothing that is good at all. So
Yeah.
even in that, I think she was trying to help her. And with Colin, she wasn't really on board with Colin. And I don't even think she liked the idea of her seducing him, but I think she also realized women don't have as many options as men. So you have to
Mhm.
do what you got to do.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is a shame. How sad that that's how it was for women then. That a man could get a
Awful.
woman pregnant knowingly. The whole of London society could know this man got this woman pregnant. There's zero repercussions for him.
Mhm.
But that woman is ostracized and penalized and thrown to the dogs, essentially.
Her whole
How
family
horrible.
is, not
Yes.
even just her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How horrible.
It's terrible.
So Eloise and Penelope have a conversation,
Mhm.
right? Because she's realizing all the things going to happen out of Lord Rutledge, and Marina is obviously, and that's the other reason why she's, not so much caring about, Penn being in love with Colin, but Marina is very well aware that Colin does not have feelings for Penn.
Yeah.
It's not a mean thing. I mean, Colin is clearly chasing after Marina. It's one of the
He
reasons
is.
she picks him, because he's going after her, not Penelope, who he's known her entire life. He's had opportunity to go after her. He's not. He's going after Marina. And Marina also knows that it's either him or Rutledge.
Mhm.
I think I would probably have the exact same idea and reaction that Marina did. She
Oh,
had
yeah.
desperation to do anything other than marry that fool.
Yeah, I agree.
And so that night, Penelope is obviously very distraught after he brings her back in the room. And Eloise goes over there and says, I have an idea. I thought it might be a servant. And Penelope says to her, some people have real mature problems to worry about,
no.
Elle. And that just, it made me sad that Penelope was so upset. But I felt way worse for Eloise, who
Right.
it's not Eloise's fault that Penelope's not confiding in her about anything at all.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and I mean, a lot of that comes from her being Lady Whistledown, I think, too,
Yeah.
that, she's not going to engage in this trying to figure it out because it's her,
Well, I mean, she could and just give a wrong theory.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think she's just hung up too much on Colin Marina right now. She's
Mhm.
not wanting to
Yeah.
deal with it.
Because
Or
it
deal
would
with
be a
Eloise.
facade.
Yeah.
Her pretending to look for who it is, or her throwing out wrong ideas. It would be an act. And she
Yeah.
didn't have the emotional capacity. And I get that. But I mean, Eloise didn't know. And Eloise
know.
certainly didn't know how she felt about her brother.
No.
Yeah. Although, how does she not? I wonder how a best friend does not pick up on this just a little bit, because it's not like Penelope hides it very well, in my opinion.
I mean, she does it to the watcher because it's all nonverbal.
You think your best friend would pick up on that eventually?
Not if you actively, I mean, you look at all the scenes at the balls. Is Eloise next to Penelope at the balls?
No, that's true.
When they're together, it's just them out away from Colin. Occasionally they're in Colin's presence. But where she connects with Colin is at the balls, and at things that Eloise hates going to. So it doesn't.
Yeah.
So, and even there, it's longing looks, it's stuttered speech, but Eloise isn't with her for that. And even if she was, it's as Lady Whistledown, she's careful. And
Yeah.
she shows her reactions and her responses to who she wants to show them to.
Right.
So I think on top of that, they have been so long wanted to improve each other's minds, and that's been their whole focus. So I don't think it's even on Eloise's radar that Penn might be interested in a guy,
Mm-hmm.
because together they decided we're going to improve our
Yeah.
minds. Love.
Which does bug me a little bit. That's the only thing that bugs me about Eloise, is because she is so against falling in love and getting married that she doesn't even consider that maybe somebody else does want that.
Mhm.
And there's nothing wrong with someone else who wants that.
And I think that she can't fathom her best friend specifically wanting
Mhm.
anything like that, because, well, we're best friends. So obviously you want exactly what I want.
Yeah.
No way. If we're best friends, you wouldn't want exactly what I want.
Right.
There was something else as I was reading that script that I want to talk about from one of the other characters. Oh, we were talking before about the library scene with the Featheringtons.
Mhm.
I love Portia's outrage and how she's even amazed at how he just hid them under old newspapers. Like,
Yeah.
couldn't have even done a better job hiding these from me.
Yeah.
What is wrong with you? And then I think in that moment she realizes, who the hell did I marry? This
Mhm.
soft, weak man. Portia clearly wears the pants in that family. Like, she'll do
Oh,
what her
yeah.
husband says because that's the time. But Portia's the one with metal. Portia's the one with
Mhm.
drive, and with, clearly she's the one with all the brains in that relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And her concern again is for her girls.
Mhm.
You spent all of their dowries. They have they have less than zero prospects now. You've taken
Mhm.
every chance they have away. And I forget how it's worded. But he says something like, I plan to fix it. And she says something like, I don't want to hear you're going to fix it. What have you already done? Or something like that. Do you remember the line I'm talking about? Tiffany, did you happen to write that down?
No, I didn't write it down.
You didn't involve Simon Spoon.
I I don't know. It's something about like he was trying to explain, and she said something about she didn't care about something, but how are you gonna fix, or what are you gonna do to fix it? And that's when he breaks down. He's like, I have no idea what to do.
He's
And
so
she's like
weak.
patting him just barely, like, okay.
She doesn't really strike me as as someone who is like, yay, physical attention.
Yeah, no.
Okay, I'm gonna look it up. Are you also looking it up, Amanda?
I'm trying to look it up. I haven't
Oh,
found it
that's
yet,
the
though.
other thing. When I'll go back to that in a minute. Never mind. Sorry. Oh, this is what Penn says to Eloise. She says, Eloise, I do not care. People have real problems, mature problems, problems that have nothing to do with the secret identity of some silly writer. I think the other reason she's upset there is because she's talking about her. She knows she's talking about herself,
Mhm.
and obviously
Yeah.
the man that she loves wants nothing to do with her.
Right.
She says the question is not what I know. The question is, what are you going to do about it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Then he just sobs.
He just breaks
Yeah,
down.
this is when he just stands there and starts sobbing uncontrollably.
Doesn't she
His
say?
hands start moving a weird way.
What is his name? I don't remember his name.
Archibald.
Archibald. Doesn't she say, Archibald? What are you doing?
Yes.
Yeah. She's so confused.
Yeah, she's like, my lord, Archibald. And then he says, I failed you. I have failed our daughters. I do not know what to do.
I felt kind of bad for him because I mean he was like having a literal breakdown.
I
I mean, I
know.
was like, oh my gosh, this
I
poor
don't feel
guy.
bad for him at all. That's all his own stupid fault.
It was. He went against Will on that fight.
Y'all know that
Every
I'm the
time.
softie here, so this is why I feel sorry for people. I'm the kind-hearted one here, apparently.
He destroyed his entire family. That they can speak.
I know, and he
I don't
was
think it's mean
sad.
to
'cause
not
he-
be kind to him.
What do you think? He's happy? He's sad, but he knows what he did.
I know.
Yeah, but then he went out the next day and bet again.
Well,
And
he's got a
convinced
gambling
Will-
problem.
Exactly. But he knows it. Okay, so the other thing that happens is when she is telling her mom, when Daphne's telling her mom about the prince. And it was before the ball, actually, and her mom saying, I know you, daughter. I know there was something between you and him. And Daphne's trying to convince her mom, no, it was a ruse. It was a ruse, mom. It was all a lie. And she can't even keep it together. And she just starts crying. And her mom is just saying, I want the best for you. And that doesn't mean prince. It doesn't mean that. I want you to have love. And that's what you guys had.
Yeah.
And just, it breaks my heart as a mom to know, I mean, because Violet knows clearly that her daughter loves this man.
Yeah.
And she's walking away from him. She doesn't understand why she's walking away from him, but she sees that she
Right.
is. And there's nothing she can do to stop it. And that shows you who Violet, and I love that aspect of Violet's character, that she does not care that the prince is the greater prize. Doesn't care at all. He could be a shoemaker. As long as Daphne loved him and he loved Daphne, that is who Violet wanted for her children. The trick of the cinematography, looking at the Bridgerton's house and the Featherington's house. And this is more the director of photography and the scene director. But even the lighting is different in their houses, right? But you look at the Featherington's houses and the library there is, everything's dark. Their sitting room, dark green walls. Everything in their house is dark. But at the Bridgertons, everything is light. They all wear light colored dresses. They have light colored walls. Their bedspreads are light blues and pastels and whites and creams. Even their main sitting room, big windows bringing in a lot of lights, cream colored walls. All their flowers are light colors, pastels and whites. And the Featheringtons is the exact opposite. And that's a neat little a crew trick to not only foretell what's going to happen, that this is obviously, this house is, we can tell obviously because the Bridgertons are the hot ticket party, but that more trauma was going to befall the Featheringtons than the Bridgertons, because that's just who they are in their nature. Because Violet is the kind of mother that cares more about the heart of her children, who cares more about the protection in reality rather than just, hey, you married a guy for money, good job you. It's she
Mhm.
cares more about the status of joy in her kids' lives, and that bleeds through to everyone else in her life. So I thought that was a really sweet scene when Violet just held Daphne as she cried right before she went to go see Prince Frederick. That was a really beautifully sad scene.
Yeah.
Before we talk about Daphne running to the garden and everything that comes after that, Tiffany, is there anything we've missed so far in these episodes that we should hit on before we go into the final big thing?
No, we covered pretty much all the big aspects of it.
I didn't think specs was going to be in the end of that word. Okay, so let's talk that. So she panics. Daphne panics, obviously, because the prince is going to ask her to marry her, and she is not stupid. She knows that's what's going to happen. But I find it interesting that it's the necklace that is making her panic, because
Mhm.
now she can feel marriage to the prince as a noose around her neck.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not only is she going to be marrying a man she does not love, but she's going to be marrying into royalty, which means that there's going to be a whole lot more expectation on her, a whole lot more expected of her in terms of socially speaking, in terms of how she has to run the country or help run whatever country he's in, going to a country she doesn't know and spending her life away from everything she's ever known. And suddenly the noose feels very tight on her.
Mhm.
And so I think that it's interesting that she takes that off, puts it on the ledge, and after she and the Duke fight, she leaves it there. She walks into the garden.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now that's a very expensive piece that was her saying
Yeah.
in that moment. And I like, because we kind of tell later on from an episode that she did this on purpose, but that is her saying, I'm giving up the prince. It's the Duke or nothing for me, by leaving that necklace there and going off in the garden.
Yep.
Especially when she heard him continue to call her name. Obviously he's going to go after her if he's going to keep yelling her name, because someone's bound to hear. And I think that's actually why Cressida came out, was
Probably.
because she could hear her rival being called after. So of course she's
Mhm.
going to be like, I want to go see what's happening there, see if I can find something to hold against her and get my prince back. But they go out there and there's very heavy petting. And I'm sort of surprised that Daphne allows to happen in that way. But of course she's been thinking about this without knowing she's thinking about it for a while.
Mhm.
And I love Anthony's reaction. I love that the Duke gets a nice swift punch in the face.
Oh yeah.
I cover my eyes every time.
Nope.
I don't
not
like
me.
seeing it.
I love it. I hope
Yeah,
brother,
I mean-
I think my brother would have done that for me too. If there's a dude who's all over me, especially if I know he has no intention of marrying my sister,
Yeah.
especially if I know that this is about to ruin everything that she has that's in her life at all,
Mhm.
my brother would come and wail on him, not just once, but like 40 times. So
Yeah.
this scene kind of redeemed Anthony fully in my eyes.
Yeah. Of course, then he takes it a little far with the duel, I think, but
I don't think so,
but I don't know, maybe not.
because Simon said right there, I cannot marry you. And
Yes.
even Anthony says, you would let her go through this rather than marry her when you caused this.
You have defiled
Mhm.
her innocence and now you refuse her hand.
Exactly. So you're going to destroy my entire family because you don't feel like marrying the girl who you just corrupted.
Yeah.
And even he says, I don't want to do this, but there is no other option. At
Yeah.
that time, there was no other option, because in their mind, it was just those two there. But secrets are only good if one of you is, dead. And now that you say Anthony has a desire to keep this a secret. So if there's a duel, no one's going to know that this happened.
Yeah.
And so, and also it's a duel of honor, because what that would say then is, he did this to my sister. My sister did not do this to him. My sister did not accept this. This was an unwanted advance. He's a scoundrel. He is a horrible person. He's a deviant. And that was the other point of the duel, was so that everyone would know it was the man who attempted to defile and corrupt someone who was unwilling.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean,
I'm
know
reading
nobody
it as we
wants-
go.
Yeah, I know nobody wants to see Simon get shot, and I don't either. But I think Anthony was absolutely right in his course of action. And that punch
Yeah.
was so awesome.
Mhm. Well, I like it. I mean, I like Anthony, so
Mm-hmm.
I did not like Anthony at the beginning.
right. Me neither.
Really, but as the show goes on
Mhm.
and after reading his book, I love him.
Yeah. I'm excited for it.
I mean, I feel like after the Nigel thing kind of
Mm.
goes
Mhm.
away. I feel like Anthony becomes a way more likable
Yeah.
character.
Because even when the prince asked him to propose, he went up to her and said, I botched it before with Nigel. I only want to do what you want. So tell me. You don't have to do it
Yeah.
now, but tell me what you want now.
Exactly.
So I'd agree with you. It was that whole Nigel time period where I was like, oh, Anthony, what is your problem?
Mm-hmm.
But then after he realized that his judge of character was way worse than his sister. Oh, that was the other thing when he said, would you judge me that harshly, sister? And she said something along the lines of, after I told you over and over again what his character was, and I told you over and over again I didn't want to be with this man. Yes, I don't trust your judgment
Mm-hmm.
because you didn't
Mhm.
trust me.
That's a point.
What?
She has a point.
Exactly. Yeah. So you also see that look in Simon's face when he says, because he doesn't say I will not. He says I cannot marry her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for him, it's I love her too much to marry her. And for her, all she hears is I'm only good for one thing to him.
Mhm.
I'm not good enough for him. I'm not something that he's desired to be with. He doesn't want me physically. He doesn't want me emotionally. This really was just a trick for him. And that's what she hears with cannot. It's a different form of cannot that she hears other than what he says.
Mhm.
But if she were to truly look at Simon other than focus on her pain, she would have seen that he was just as broken as she was when he said that.
Yeah.
And then when he's rummaging around Will's house for that alcohol, and he doesn't want to kill his friend. He doesn't want to shoot his friend. And obviously he doesn't. He doesn't
Right.
even attempt to. But he either knows that he is going to die or he's going to live and cause irreparable damage to both Daphne, his best friend, and the entire Bridgerton family, that there is no coming back from that if he lives.
Mhm.
No.
What a horrible place to find yourself at.
Yeah.
Right?
That's really sad.
My poor guy.
So while he deserved the punch, I also get why he's so sad.
Mm.
Rightly
Yeah.
so.
I get both sides, but
Mhm.
I still, as much as I love Simon, I do want to hit him upside the head half the time. So
Hey, Lady Danbury loves him a great deal. And she almost always wants to hit him upside the head.
Yep.
Oh,
Hit
that's
him
the
with
other
a
thing
cane.
that we didn't talk about. Is there a conversation before he went to this ball to go find Daphne?
Yeah, we kind of touched on it, but we didn't talk into depth
No,
about
we
it.
didn't really talk about it. When she says she does call him a fool, what she's talking about Charlotte marrying the king.
Oh, right.
And
Yeah.
how because that love descended race, because this love was born out of friendship, out of goodness, out of true reality and true selflessness, doors have been open to us. We have anything that we can desire, that we have all these avenues that weren't open to us before as colored people, who now we
Mhm.
are seen as equal rather than below, as we always should have been. It should have been equal, not below. And then she ends it with, and love conquers all.
Yeah.
But he comes back with, until that love fades. And then
Yeah.
Mad King kicks her out. And then where are all of us? So until
Yeah.
it's proven otherwise, no, love does not conquer all. But then he goes to find Daphne.
Mhm.
There's no other reason he's at that party.
No, I mean,
He's
it's
not
just
even
for her.
inside. He's looking on the out. He's standing outside in the garden, watching
Mhm.
and waiting for her to come out. So
Sorry, I'm
yes,
reading
I
the
thought you were going
duel.
to say something, so I was waiting.
I'm reading the Daphne and Simon's conversation at the duel.
I remember that one almost word for word because I rewind that one a lot when she
This-
first comes up.
I missed it when I was just now
Mm.
watching, and so I was trying to refresh my brain.
Mm-hmm.
I love this discussion though.
I love even before that when she first comes on the duel. And first of all, poor Anthony, he obviously doesn't want to shoot Simon. He does not want to
Yeah.
do this at all. His hand is shaking so badly. And the only reason he shoots is because the horse startles the crap out of him.
Mhm.
But I rewind this particular part over and over again because Simon's immediate, horrified, terrified scream of Daphne.
Mhm.
Like even talking
Yeah.
about, I feel like I'm getting a little emotional talking about it. That's the part I keep rewinding
Mhm.
Yeah.
because there's never been a more wretched sound that has come out of him.
Yeah.
Other than when he thought that she had been shot.
Mhm.
That was truly great acting right there.
Yep. And even when he goes over to her and he's telling her to talk to him, there's at one point when Anthony goes to to sort of move the Duke's hands away, and the Duke slaps his hand away and pushes his hand under her. So
Yep.
he's like, no, you're not going to stop me from touching her in this moment. You're not going to separate me from her in this moment when she could be dying.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that part is really,
It shows you the love.
yes. I'm tearing up a little bit right now, and I didn't think I did it while I was watching it. But just that he genuinely thought, I mean, they didn't see where the bullet went. They had no
Yeah.
idea. For all they knew, she was bleeding out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the fact that he physically fought to keep his hand on the woman that he loves as he thought she was dying and
Yeah.
his expression the whole time is just gut-wrenching.
Mhm.
When she speaks and her brother goes, oh, thank God.
Right.
We didn't want to have to go back to mom and give that.
Could you imagine?
information.
Yeah, Violet.
Oh,
Ooh.
Anthony.
Well, what
I
was
don't
it?
think Anthony would have lived another day.
Well, didn't he say? She said something like, "You almost shot me." He was like, "Well, you ran into the middle of a duel."
Amanda,
Which
do you
was
have that
really
dialogue pulled
dumb.
up?
Like,
Exactly. She knew what they were doing. Why not pull off to the side? Why did you run right
I
between
mean,
us?
right in the.
She was trying to stop the bullet, but where did she think the bullet was gonna go?
She
Right?
goes, I am perfectly well, no thanks to you, idiots.
Will you just read the whole thing, like right through to the end of her and Simon's conversation?
Yep. It says, are you hurt? Tell me. She says, I am perfectly well, no thanks to you, idiots. He says, what are you playing at? Says the man who just shot at me. You rode in the middle of a duel. I require a moment with the Duke. She just changes the conversation. Make it brief. You should not have come. My mind's not changed. It must. If not for your sake, then mine. Simon, we were seen. Cressida Cowper witnessed us in the garden. She knows. It is not merely your own life that hangs in the balance now. If you do not marry me, I shall be ruined. He says, Daphne, I cannot. She says, did you not hear me? Someone knows what we have done. Someone who will surely talk. What possible reason could you have to condemn me to shame and reproach? Do you truly hold me in such low regard? He says, it is because I regard you so highly that I cannot marry you. She says, I know you do not love me, but I never thought you could despise me so. Daphne, you must know if we were to wed, I can never give you children. Is it your dream to be a mother? Is it not? To have a household full of love and laughter like the one you have known all your life? You deserve nothing less. You deserve everything your heart desires, but I cannot provide it to you, nor I could ever ask for such a sacrifice. Please, Daphne, for your own sake, you must stand aside and let your brother finish this. We must resume before someone should find us. There will be no need to resume. The Duke and I are to be married. Scene.
Daphne's got some metal.
Mhm.
I love her. I like that she's finally fed up of no, men are gonna stop deciding my fate. We're done with
Yep.
this now. We're all done with
We're
these
getting
games.
married.
And the woman is gonna start making a decision, and this is just how it's gonna be from now on.
I love his face. He's like, oh.
Notice he didn't contest it.
Mm-mm.
Mhm. No.
No, because he told her half the truth. He hasn't told her the whole truth, but
Yeah.
you know, he's.
Yeah,
I think
there's a
that
big
was
difference
his
between
main
cannot and
concern.
will not.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and that was his main worry about marrying her. Is
What's his only worry?
yeah, he
Mhm.
doesn't want children. He
Mhm.
doesn't mind marrying her. Marriage is not his problem. It's children.
And he does
So-
want, and he even says later on in 5 that he does want her to be his wife.
Mhm.
He
Yeah.
has wanted her to be his wife. That's why he's so tortured.
But I mean, and back then that's true. They were supposed to procreate.
That was the woman's
Mhm.
job.
Yeah. And
And
so
if you could not, then you were deficient. Man society used to really suck way worse than it did now. You know, it still pretty much sucks now, but I love too that when he's like, "Are you hurt?" He doesn't even give her a moment to respond. He's just screaming, "Tell me!" Like, he was so desperate to find out if she had any pain anywhere because he wanted to relieve it.
Oh yeah.
And the other aspect is, you messed up aside so your brother can finish this. He's saying, "Step aside so I can die now, please."
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is
That was really
so
sad.
heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But poor
Awful.
Charlotte, or not Charlotte, poor Daphne, all she heard was, "You would rather die than be with me."
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
I mean,
Yeah.
I don't blame her on that either.
Mhm.
Right.
Exactly. Because he's not really sending clear signals here.
No,
No.
he's not.
If
So
this
poor
dude was
Charlotte
being
is-
honest.
Exactly. I called her Charlotte again, but poor Daphne is marrying this man fully thinking he despises her, he
Mhm.
hates her, and he would rather die than be with her, and she's forcing him into a marriage. That's what she's going into this being.
Mhm.
This marriage like.
Yep.
And that's so sad.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, now she knows. I think she feels like the only reason he won't marry her is because of the children.
I
So
don't think so.
You don't think so?
Mm-mm. Finish your thought though.
No, it's just from reading it. I mean, he says, "It's your dream. I can never give you children." And it wasn't a minute after that she said, "We'll be married."
Mm-hmm.
It's not, I don't feel like she really thought that hard on it. I felt like I don't think it was like, "Oh, okay, fine, whatever." But I think she would have rather held that standard of herself than have her name rolled around in the trash.
Mhm.
She'd give kids up for that,
Mm-hmm.
which is sad.
And I don't think she saw another choice though.
No, I
Mhm.
mean, what choice does she have? Cressida Solar.
Mm-hmm. And I think that too, I think it's really hard for her to get the image and the wording out of her head of, "Hey, let me go die so I don't have to marry you."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the garden, "I can't marry you. You would defile her and not marry her. I can't marry her." No excuses offered, no reasoning offered. And I think in that moment, that even though he's saying, "I can't give you children," in the next breath he says, "Let me go die so I don't have to marry you." So I think that's still what she's hearing. So I think that she's confused. I think
Mhm.
she's hearing him say one thing and seeing him do another.
Yeah.
So I think often when that happens, I mean, who picks the positive thing to think on? When
Right.
when you feel personally attacked and when you feel heartbroken, you're gonna believe the worst about yourself. That
Mhm.
he doesn't want me. He doesn't like me. He must despise me if he'd rather die. Because even if he dies, her life is still ruined.
Yep.
Mhm.
And he's willing to let that happen. Like, great, you can't give her kids, but you die and she can never even have a husband
Yeah.
because she's ruined.
Yeah.
So I don't see how and that's why I don't think that she thinks, "Oh, he just wants to give me children," because I think she also is very aware of the time she lives in, and that the fact is, if he dies, she won't ever have kids anyway, and he has to know
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
No one will
He's
touch her
not
with a 10-foot
thinking.
pole.
He's not thinking logically at all.
I think he's thinking he doesn't want to take her happiness, but I think that's what Daphne is hearing. I don't know why I keep calling her Charlotte. I think that because she's hearing him say and do different things, and because even though his intent is this, he's not thinking clearly, so he's not even saying things clearly. The way he's saying it is still coming out jacked up because he's so in turmoil.
Mhm.
So I think her only thought pattern there is, "No, we're done with this. You're not making decisions for me. I'm making them for myself, and you're just going to obey me because I'm telling you're going to obey me, and that's just what we're doing. I don't care how you feel. I don't even care how I feel right now, but I'm not going to let myself and my sisters be destroyed." And she even says that to Eloise, doesn't she?
Mhm.
I've set the stand. This is in episode 5, but I've set
Yeah,
the
it's
standard for you
later.
now, and now
Yeah.
you need to marry. So she's part of that anger at Eloise. There was, "I just sacrificed my happiness. I've sacrificed love, and I've sacrificed kids so that you didn't get screwed."
Yeah.
Is that where episode 4 ends, or do they go into her telling her mom?
No, that's
No, that's where it ends.
That's
Yeah,
where
it
it
ends
ends.
there.
Is that
Mhm.
last line I just said.
Yep.
Over.
Is there anything else we want to talk about in these chapters, episodes, seasons, whatever they are? I don't know.
I think we covered it.
All right, guys, I think that's all we have on Bridgerton episodes 3 and 4. If we missed something, let us know. If we are insanely too analytical about the show, let us know that too. But we really want to know your thoughts and your feedback. So reach out to us. You can reach us on our email, which is familyfanclub2021@gmail.com. You can find us in our Facebook group of Bridgerton Family Fan Club. You can find us on Instagram under Family Fan Clubs, or on Twitter under Family Fan Clubs. I don't know if that's the exact name for the Instagram and Twitter account, but you put that in there, we'll pop up. You'll see it. We have the name. So we want your feedback. Remember to subscribe and rate, like, and share. Tell everyone you know about this podcast, and tune into our other episodes. You may be surprised at some of the stuff we have. Just to give you a reminder, a refresher, we've been doing this for, 2 months now, 1.5 months, something like that.
Something like that.
Feels like forever.
Yeah. By the time you see this, we will have been doing this for about 2 months. So I'll just give you a little refresher of the shows that we have on our podcast. We do, help me out, guys. We do Schitt's Creek, Gilmore Girls, Bridgerton, Vampire Diaries, This Is Us, The Resident, Sanditon, Friday Night
Summer.
Cruel Summer, Friday Night Lights, One Tree Hill, already said that.
Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's Anatomy, that's the other one. Sweet
Gilmore
Magnolias,
Girls.
Gilmore Girls, and Ginny and Georgia.
Yeah.
That should be all of them, right?
That's
So
it.
we do podcasts on all of those shows. So check out, we post every Sunday at noon. Our Cruel Summer one, we're changing that up a bit. We are not ending our Cruel Summer podcast, but we're changing it. Our cast and crew interviews are going to replace our our podcast. It'll still be a podcast episode, but it'll just be cast and crew interviews. And then I think we're going to be doing a live coming up here soon. I think we should in the next few weeks here for Cruel Summer. And we have a cast member who is anxiously asked when we're going to include her on a live for that show. So look out for that. Our cast and crew interviews otherwise are on Mondays and Thursdays. Check them out. Watch our stuff, guys. The more you watch, the more you rate, the more you subscribe, the more downloads we have, the more content we can give you. The more popular our channel gets, the better interviews we'll be able to get you, the more cast and crew will be willing to come on. So just remember that as you're watching this, tell everyone you know about it, and really give us your honest feedback. We're all fans. We want to hear what you had to say. We don't just want to, we kind of do want to be the bosses of everything, but we still want to do what you want a little bit, as long as it doesn't challenge directly what we want to do. So let us know, and we'll be watching for your stuff. Have a great week, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.